Magic. Obviously, talking about a different kind of magic. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Just waiting for my podcast host. Bear with us, bear with us. Should be pretty quickly. Oh, there she is. About dang time.
Oh,
Got me waiting
hush.
like 12 seconds.
I'd always have you wait.
Shit, some bull. Yeah, it's just
Anyways,
part of your charm. You make people wait. I don't like it.
look, I'm testing my new audio setup. Does this sound okay?
I can't hear you at all. What was that?
Are you being serious?
Huh? What?
Are you being serious?
Oh God, son of a bitch. I heard you the whole time. I was just joshing. What's up, Uzi?
So not funny.
I,
Anyways.
I hear you. I hear you great. Don't worry.
Okay,
Doing
awesome.
amazing. Yeah.
I love y'all and thank you so much. What is this? Our third episode of the Magical Misfits
Is it number
podcast.
three?
This is
Yeesh.
number three.
Crazy.
And number
Crazy.
three.
How time
Uh,
flies.
how time flies. But we are going to have a special guest today.
We are.
Our cEDH master.
Scary. Yeah. Scary to say. Give that guy any props. Yep. Absolutely. Should be
He
fun.
goes by Roar, Chaos Roar, but we know him as
Rower. Yep.
Roar.
Yep. One of his many. One of his many nicknames. Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see if I'm gonna be able to. I'm not sure if you're gonna have to invite him in, or I'm gonna. You probably have to
Are
invite him
you?
in.
Are you guys not friends? Is that why?
No, we're friends. It's just I don't know if it's gonna pop up on my end. How
No.
would we not be friends? That's crazy.
That's what I'm asking. Um, I've never invited a guest before. How do I do it?
Whoa. So normally me and you would get on here as co-hosts, right?
Right.
Depending on if this person goes live at all, which he does, we should be able to invite him as well as a co-host.
Yeah,
So you
he's
just
live right now too. Maybe.
yeah.
Or he
So
was. He was.
so you just gotta hit the co-host button and then add him in there. But I don't know why it's not giving me the option. Mm, let me see.
Multi-guest? Is that what you mean?
Um, I when you do multi-guest, it makes all the boxes like you have like 15 boxes and they're super small. So
I don't think we want
Chaos,
that.
don't you need to go live by yourself, but don't go. Hold on, hold on. He sent a request. Let me see. Did it work? This might work.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it. I just know how to normally add people as I'm playing, through the stream or whatever. What's up, Trey?
Yeah, it's a little different through that stream. All right, guys, bear with us while we get set up and get our guest up here. Let's see. We might have
I'm gonna
to
figure it out eventually. Co-hosting. Wait. Oh, quick invites. Invite. Oh.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Chaos, do that. You get off my live, you go live, and we could be able to invite you that way.
Yeah, I think that's how it's supposed to work. Disconnect from live. No, 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 no. I don't want to do that.
Knows all about cEDH, but doesn't know how to go live on TikTok.
I know, right? Some people. Yeah, you can beat somebody on turn one, but you can't go live on TikTok. Seriously.
Has he
Kinda.
really? Has he really beat someone on turn one?
Oh yeah, he ran the cEDH night. What was it? The one that I participated in and played in. He beat everybody on turn one. It was wonderful.
Really? Are you
Yeah,
freaking
yeah,
kidding
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah. He has that ability.
hey.
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, maybe he can explain how one
Yeah.
would go about doing something like that, right?
Literally, that's when I hear that, I'm like, there's no way. But then, people have these. Are they?
I invited him. There you go.
Hey,
All right.
welcome
I got it, mommy.
in.
Since you can't figure it out,
I literally just sent the invite. Anyways,
he did not.
welcome.
He
Thank
obviously
you.
took my invite, not yours.
Oh, okay, sure.
I don't know whose
Yeah.
invite I took. I just took one of them.
Mine. Thank you very much. Right. Yes.
Over here fighting over you.
Hey, that's okay. I like the attention.
Doesn't
my
everybody
gosh.
always?
Right. So thanks so much for being here with us. We really appreciate you. We know you usually go a little bit later on with your lives. And I wish, like, every time I see you and I'm like half asleep and I'm just like, I want to be there. I want to come, but it's just hard. But if you don't mind, introducing yourself to us, what's your name and your page and what kind of stuff you do?
So my name is Calvin. I go by Chaos Roar on TikTok and Manapool, and I started playing Magic, back in 2023 as just as a way to learn it. Originally, I worked for a LGS and I did security there. And they were like, hey, you know a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh, you know a lot about Pokemon, but 90% of our sales are Magic. And if you could learn that too, and I was just like, man, I don't know if I want to learn another card game, type thing. And in 2023, like Yu-Gi-Oh was in a good spot, which is what I was playing the most competitively. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this. Well, then the problem that Yu-Gi-Oh had then is they have a ban list, essentially the same thing as Magic does, but theirs is a lot more extravagant. Like we're talking multiple pages. Like you have forbidden cards you can only play at 1, cards you can only play at 2. Like it's rough, and you have to keep all that in track. Well, the deck I was playing at that time was it was a little over $1,000 to play it, and there was like no reprints. Like there wasn't alternatives. Well, $500 of that deck got smacked by the list.
No way.
And I literally looked right at Destiny. I was like, I'm done. Destiny's my wonderful wife, if you've ever heard to say that. So I looked right at Destiny and I said, I am done. Like, I am so tired of this game. And Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't doing very good in Europe. Like the YCS for Yu-Gi-Oh Championship Series was really down bad. And so I just stopped playing cards in general. Like I was just done. Like I offloaded all my stuff to a good friend of mine who is he's one of the co-owners with CardKingdom.com, and I offloaded everything I had to him. And I just wasn't playing cards at all. Like I wasn't playing any card games. And so when I started at the LGS, they were just like, hey, we want you to learn how to play play Magic, and you play Warhammer already. So I played Warhammer Mini for the miniatures, which is incredibly expensive. If you are not playing right now, don't start.
Thank you. I tell people all the time, I don't have enough to go between Magic and Warhammer. I like the idea of Warhammer, and I'm interested in it. I'm just not there yet. My tax bracket's not there yet.
and it's like the miniatures themselves, like are not only are they just incredibly expensive, but then you have to remember everything else that goes into the game, like how far away can your units attack? What rolls you have to get for them to hit on? It's rough.
I've literally seen people like pull out a tape measure and get real down nitty gritty with it, and then you also get to take the time to paint all your stuff.
Yes, and here's the best part: they actually have remedied that to where you don't have to paint them anymore. Games Workshop has actually, in the past, when they release a new edition, they release all of the old files for the previous expansion, so then you're able to 3D print them in whatever colors you want.
No,
that's
way.
Awesome.
So that was something Game Workshop did.
That's actually a good idea.
Yes, and like units that they haven't reprinted yet that you don't want to pay secondary market prices for. Yes, it is fantastic to 3D print them.
Right.
And when I started playing Magic, the Warhammer decks had come out not too long before I was asked, and they had a Tyranid deck, which is my 40k army that I like to play, and that's where the Magic journey started. And I sat down with this precon, and that was on the old power scaling system where you were able to be like, oh yeah, like my deck's a 7. Well, everybody's deck was a 7, even when it wasn't. Okay, and I sat down with TC. He's a good friend of mine, and he just kicked it in like it wasn't even a game. It was literally a precon versus what we call cEDH. And there was 2 other people in the pod, and they were also playing cEDH. And I was just like, well, I don't know why I'm playing this when I can play this,
Mm-hmm.
And so So I was just like, like let me borrow a deck, like let me see if I can figure out some combos, learn some combos, stuff like that. And they're just like, we're not going to let you borrow one of these decks. They're 10 grand to build. And I was just like, what? Because I also didn't know that Magic had cards that were not getting reprinted and for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, literally.
So I decided that I was going to invest in cEDH. And my very first cEDH deck was Marwyn the Nurturer. It was mono green elf ball, and it was very linear, like very glass cannon-y. Like you could definitely like win turn 2, but because you're playing mono green, you have no interaction. And in 2023, like when I started playing this deck, it only cost me $4 grand to build it, which was very cheap in comparison to like what you look at now, right? Like, oh, you only spent $4 grand on your deck. Like, I mean, how bad is it going to be? You know, most expensive card being a Gaia's Cradle. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I did really good. Like I went to Dallas, I got second place. Like I did awesome. And I lost to Tier Grid God of Fright, which was a mono black deck. And it was designed to be a lot faster than mine. He wheeled 4 times on his turn. I had to discard over 40 cards, and everything that you discarded that deck that's permanent, he gets to put on his side of the board. Well, the problem is that my deck plays 40 creatures, and one of them was a Craterhoof Behemoth. So that was the end of that game. I just got ran over by my own card, and I was just like, okay, mono green's just not it, because I can't respond to anything these people do. And then that's when I started like really branching out into like other color schemes, other color pies, and it changes. The problem with the cEDH meta is that it changes all the time. Like decks that are really good right now because of Marvel are not going to be as good come The Hobbit or come Reality Fracture or come Star Trek.
That's the only thing that I really like playing more casual and, me talking trash and smack and stuff like that. So I really don't enjoy when I play against someone that is taking it way too serious, right? Like, and I feel like a lot of cEDH players are like, just, I'm here to play and win, don't talk to me.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, when you start breaking down cEDH players like that, like in that environment, you learn really quickly what a good cEDH player is and what a bad cEDH player is. Because a good cEDH player is not only going to be able to, and I actually did a video on this not too long ago, they're not only going to be able to play and pilot their deck, but they are going to be able to politic and manipulate the other 75% of the players into making them lose the game. Okay? So you don't necessarily have to be like the best player at the table. You just have to make everybody else realize that somebody else is a bigger problem than you, so they take the problem out so you can win on the back half. Like, because the thing about cEDH is that every cEDH deck is a 99 card pile. Yes, do they have a commander? Absolutely. Is that commander important? No. 90% of the commanders in cEDH, you do not even see them summon them. Like, they are not cast. They are literally just there for the color pie. Turbo decks like Rogsai, Atali, Gwynnum, those decks cast their commanders because those decks are reliant on commanders. But Kinnan is another deck right now that is the number 1 deck being played in cEDH because it got so much amazing support. Can you knock it off, you, Reagan? It got so much support inside of Marvel that like it is going to be, I think, the first place spot for a very long time. I don't think that you're going to be able to dethrone Kinnan for a long time. Atali, really good turbo deck. Gwynnum, because it's mono black, it just got hurt really bad. But it did pick up Doom Unrivaled, which is a really good card for that deck. So now it can play the Demonic Consultation Tainted Pact combo with the new Doom. You also saw Grixis and Esper. So Tivit and Kefka, respectfully, are the 2 commanders there that you see on the cEDH circuit the most. Both of them picked up a Wondrous Wasp, which comes into flash speed. It's a 1/2 creature, or it's a 2/1 creature. It has flying, and it taps a creature when it comes in, and that creature loses all abilities. So it turns off like Draenith Magistrates. It turns off Voice of Victories. It turns off anything that was originally problematic that you had a hard time getting over.
I kind of let me interrupt you there. I'm sorry, because we could talk all day about that. I want to see, Micah. You've also been playing Magic for a really long time. Why don't you play any cEDH?
Well, I tried actually, and I wanted to and I'll kind of piggyback off of what something Calvin was just saying. And I wanted to ask him about this as well. Is that most of the decks that compete at that level are very, very similar. Like, for instance, when you said the Gwynam deck, right? Most people that play the Gwynam deck, it's the majority are all the exact same cards, right? Except for, I'm guessing, what, 5 to 10? I mean, what is the mixture of that? Because I always hear cEDH people say that that deck, the Atali deck, the Gwynam deck, which it always sounds like everybody's playing the exact same deck. Is there any way you could break that down for me? Because I think that's also something that I don't understand. And, like, what is the difference between your Gwynam deck and my Gwynam deck if everyone is saying, oh, you just picked up that card for the Gwynam deck? I mean, is everybody just playing the exact same deck and getting lucky on their pulls when they draw?
So the curve, as we call it, is approximately between 17 and 21%. So 17 and 21% of the deck will be different from list to list. But there's always going to be key cards that you will see in every single list. So, like, when you build Gwynam, for example, every list is going to have an Aetherflux Reservoir. Every list is going to have a Sensei's Divining Top. Every list is going to play a Bolus's Citadel. Every list is going to play a Mox Diamond, a Mox Opal, a Chrome Mox, a Mana Vault. Like, they're all going to play these cards because the goal for these decks are to get the commander as fast as you can, because that deck, being a turbo deck, relies on Gwynam being on the field to win. So there's going to be approximately 21% of cards at the max that are going to be different from deck to deck based on that player's statistic on what they want to see in quicker turns. So knowing that you have to knowing that you have to build based on that, and you already know what cards are going to go in it that are like basically mandatory on every single deck that you see, no matter what the list is. Like, those cards are just never going to change. A card that I played in mine that a lot of people felt was just not a good card to play was I played Hoarding Broodlord. It is a 7-drop dragon. It says that when it enters, you exile a card from your deck face down, and then creatures that you have Convoke to cast that card from exile. Well, the card that I would always grab for the Convoke was Sawed in Half. Okay? So that way I could Convoke, play the Saw in Half, make 2 copies of Hoarding Broodlord. They both enter the battlefield. I would get to exile 2 more cards, and those 2 cards would be the win condition. Right?
Oh, wow.
Hoarding Broodlord was only at the time in less than 5% of decks that played Gwynam. Like, it just wasn't in there. Sawed in Half was less than 1%. But that was a card that I played that was low CMC. The Hoarding Broodlord is 7, okay? But Gwynam is casting this off the top of your library, and you're using life. I don't give a crap about 7 life when I have 40. And I have said it 1,000 times that the only life that matters is the last one. And if I could get to the 13 tutors, because I'm playing mono black in the deck, I'm going to get an Aetherflux Reservoir pretty early, and I'm not going to care about the 4 mana that I'm about to spend on it to cast off the top of the deck, because every card I cast after that's going to give me a lot more than I'm about to spend on it. And so that's like some of the key pieces.
So is it fair to say that most of the decks will have the same frame or outwork, right? And then that person will put in their own creativity, their own, like...
As long as it's the same deck, they will all pretty much have the same framework. When you start changing commanders and color pies and stuff like that, you'll see a lot of the same cards like stay in these lists, but you'll see certain cards like come out. So like a good example of that is partner commanders. So like if you're playing Rograk or Silas, or if you're playing Tim the Crom, or if you're playing Rogthras, so Rograk and Thrasios, like all those partner commanders, you see a lot of those decks play Mox Amber. And Mox Amber says it's a 0-drop artifact. It says when it comes in, you get to tap it for a mana amongst legendary permanents that you control. But then if you play a deck like Atali, there's not very many legendaries in that deck. So you actually do not see Mox Amber on 90% of lists. In fact, it's not on my list.
Right.
So the list that, when I won Texas, it didn't have Mox Amber. That was like one of the things that we actually talked about in the deck profile. Because that card, even though it's the framework for a lot of other decks, it just doesn't make it mine. And in fact, from that weekend, all of the Atali decks that were there, because I definitely was not the only one, all the other Atali decks that did play Mox Amber, their biggest hang-up in their deck profiles was when I drew this card, I couldn't tap it for anything because I didn't have a legendary creature. So it's just a waste of card. It just doesn't doesn't do any good.
And you can't do that in CDH, right? You can't have like one card taking up space. Like it doesn't work, right? I mean, you need to be able to draw into.
It doesn't work in the sense that like if you keep your opening 7 and you have a card that you can't do anything with, that's a dead card. At that point, why didn't I just mold down to 6? Or why didn't I take a second 7? And as long as you can keep cards like that out that don't do any good, that don't advance your game state in the opening starts of the game, then you're going to be a lot better off. Because cEDH is not played and not designed to have fun. cEDH is designed for how fast can I win and what interaction do I have to keep to win this. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
And so turbo decks,
format, mommy.
I know. I'm like, I get that, and I've seen people.
It's not
play
you.
It,
Yeah.
but I want to like spend time with a person. I want to play a little bit longer, and I think that's the only thing that's honestly turned me away from the cEDH is like, yeah, I'm sure I could build something that'll kill you in turn 1, turn 2, right? But I kind of want to torture you a little bit longer than that,
What do you?
Hey, but here's the thing. One thing I will say is that those decks are designed to win as fast as they can. But I have literally, in my own pods, watched the time clock run out after 80 minutes, and we still be on turn 2 because we're trying to resolve the stack. Okay? So
yeah, I've seen that too. And then that right there, that would be frustrating for me. That would be so frustrating.
No thanks.
I get it.
I'm out.
Why do you think the space for competitive is just so much more into cEDH than any other like format?
Well, so like when you break down the competitive structure across all Magic formats, so the biggest 3 are cEDH, Standard, and Modern, right? All 3 of those spaces are super competitive. And when you break down cEDH Commander opposed to when you break down Modern and Standard have updated lists that stay with them, and they have pools in which they can and cannot use. So Modern is everything after 8th edition, and Standard is everything that's inside as a standard legal set. So what they've deemed. So Universes Beyond is now standard legal. That being said, because so many cards come in and out of those formats, and they are 4-card formats, the competitive structure of them are a lot different than Commander, where you can play cards from Alpha all the way to where we're currently at in Marvel Superheroes. And you can play cards in Commander that come out of Jumpstart, that come out of Mystery Boosters, that you physically can just not play inside of Standard or in Modern unless they have a print inside those. And that's one thing that changes the dynamic and the competitive nature for a cEDH player, because they have access to tens of thousands of cards, whereas Standard and Modern players only have access to a handful of decks that are currently good in their respective formats.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's my first time in like playing standard, I was like, "What do you mean I can't use these cards? Like, what do you mean?" Like, I had to like wrap my head around that, and then I understood it. But then I also can see that it'll keep it like it keeps it fresh, right? Because it's like you can't just always use the same cards, and like you have to come up with something new and something creative. I get that standpoint as well, and it's cool, but also like, but I got these cards, they're vintage, like you know what I mean, like I would want to use them too. So
what's the nice thing about Magic is all the different formats, right? I mean, for me personally, playing 32 years of 60 card format, where we would just the rule was no more than 4 of anything in it was because it was more our own, just me and my kid or me and the stepdad or whatever playing on our own, right? To moving into Commander and having my world just like mind blown over all the different combinations of cards and what you can add, and going back through the collection and putting them in is very exciting to me. But also I can see, like, being a competitive player and being a just a lover of the game, and now doing the pre-release for the first time, I can see where it could be fun to have a limited amount of cards to build from, because it really does test your abilities as a deck engineer, I would say, right? To put something together. So I love that there are the different formats. If you want more of an open format, you got your Commander. We just throw whatever you want in there as long as it's 99 different cards, right? And then you have all your competitive formats, which I think are amazing. I just need to learn more about them.
Yeah, I personally like draft. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Draft is personally my favorite because of that, of what you said, that you have to figure it out. And right there, what do you have? Be scrappy with it. What can you build that's going to be really great to take on your other opponents? And it puts you kind of on like even playing field with a bunch of, everyone has the same. And
it's very fun.
And I love that. I love it. I love seeing, and honestly, I think that's what has made me a better deck engineer, to be honest. I feel like a mad scientist now. I'm just like,
But what it's really funny though when you say that, because I've seen players that are like really good at deck constructing. Like they over engineer decks, or they see a vision in a deck and they can literally make it work, and they don't have to have expensive cards. They can make a 50 card pile and you're going to believe that there's money in that deck, and it's not. It's like literally $50 of just jank that you just got smacked by in a Commander game. But then you see those same players go to a pre-release and can't build crap, just get waxed 3-4 turns in a row, and it's just like, what happened? And it takes them out of their dynamic where they had this giant pool of cards that they could choose from, to now you're limited to not only the 400 and something cards that are in the set, but you're limited now to the 6 packs that just came out of your pre-release.
And time. And your time.
And time.
And I think honestly that's whenever I play against guys that have been playing since the 90s and stuff like that. So I don't go in there thinking, oh, I'm gonna get first place. No, I'm going in there thinking, if I win one game out of this draft, I'm ecstatic. I'm the other day I beat one of my friends, and he's older, and I was just like, I don't even care if you win the other 2 games. I won 1 game for me. Like, I'm happy, because that was like, it kind of made me feel really good, because I know how much of a great player he is,
Yeah.
So that was, we'll mute him for a minute. But that was really like a moment for me, honestly, in my Magic time, because I was just like, okay, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, my first ever pre-release was just the Marvel pre-release. And I did the Midnight pre-release, which was my first ever pre-release. And I did terrible. I mean, I went 0-2, and it's because, I was building the deck more toward my style, right? And I ended up building a green and blue deck, which was dumb. I should have absolutely went a different direction, but I didn't. I just wanted, I had a bunch of card draw, and I just, it was a me deck. I mean, I got stomped both times, and I ended up leaving early. So the second one, I was ready. I was like, okay, F this, right? I'm going to build to win. So I did. I didn't necessarily build the best, strongest cards. I built the best themed, what I could pull off to hold them down to win, and it worked. I mean, I went the next 2. I ended up going 4-1, so I only lost 1 game in the next 2 releases I did. But that's just because I learned that you have to build differently when you're in a pre-release, right? You need to think hard about what you're building.
Yeah,
Yeah, literally.
and building like on the spot like that, that will always be like a player's defining moment. Like, can I build on the spot? Can I build this to win?
Yep.
Can I actually do well with cards? Because you have to think, unless you podcast or you are up to date with like leak season when these sets come out, you have no idea what half these cards are going to do when you open them from a pack.
I didn't. Okay? Yeah.
So going into like pre-release, we already had the full spoiler list for all the cards that came out of Marvel. And and actually some of y'all, Mommy being one of them, when she was opening her packs on stream, like I would hop in there and I would be like, listen, like it looks like you're packing like 70% white. Like you need to build something with a lot of white and back it up with blue because like you have like key blue cards. And I don't know how much advice people take from that when you're like just looking at comments, because everybody's in their comments and like, oh, she got a cool card. That cool card ain't going to win a game, and nobody cares about the cool card, right? You're here to win.
And see, that's my downfall when I'm regular drafting. That's my downfall, because I will pick a really beautiful card, or just a card that I want, rather than a card I need.
Mr. Planeswalker.
That's my downfall. That is my downfall, and I will admit that. But I can't help it. I can't, like, there's something inside me. It's like, I cannot let this piece of Van Gogh go.
Yeah, I get it.
So when Final Fantasy came out, I drafted the crap out of that set. I was going to like every single draft, every Tuesday night draft, Thursday night draft, Sunday draft. I was going to all of them because I was like, I want to draft as much Final Fantasy for as long as I can, and which wasn't very long. It sold out in like a few weeks, but that was okay. I got to draft 13 times in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I was doing great. And there was like several times that like several big cards like came across the like my packs. And like one of the big cards that I had in one of my packs, and I will never forget this, because the person that I passed this pack to was like, "Are you serious?" Because the pack that I got had a Sephiroth in it, but it was the borderless Sephiroth, non-foil.
Nice.
But the card that I took from the pack was Kuja, Gymno Sorcerer, which was like 20 cents. And I passed this $70 Sephiroth across the table. Well, guess what? He took the $70 Sephiroth. Guess who won that draft? Me.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And here's the thing. The check that I got at the end was for $500 on the draft. So I won it. So I won a check for $500. He lost all the money that he put into the draft after his pack.
Did you give him $75 for the Sephiroth?
I gave him 65% of its value because that was more than
$50. That's more like it.
And still went all the money.
$50, yeah. I should have said 50. I should have started with 50. I should have known better.
That's pretty good. I mean, if I was in the running for like $500, I'd probably would do the same. Yeah. But
and what I'll say too is what you said. Honestly, like, it feels good. I think winning those games at the pre-release for me felt better than most victories I ever have in any Commander match. Because my God, does it feel good to know that like me and the guy next to me like had the exact same opportunity as the 6 blind packs. We put our decks together, especially the last pre-release that I did, because the last pre-release that I did, like, I won quickly in all of my matches, and I was like, "Oh!" I walked away going, "Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this." It felt really good, because it's like ultimate props of yourself as like a deck builder. I really enjoyed it. I thought that was tremendous.
Because I feel like, honestly, like, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I feel like anyone can just get a list off Moxfield and build a commander deck, right? I think it takes a certain amount of skill to be able to build something on the spot, build something that'll work, and build something that's, going to kick ass. But like, I think that's a little bit, it was really hard for me at first drafting, and there was times where I felt a lot of anxiety, and a lot of people said, "You're still really new at Magic. Why are you drafting?" And I go, I just like the impulsiveness about it. I like, not knowing, and I will not spoil the like I will not look into like any leaks. Just so I can remain actual.
I try not to, but it's almost impossible nowadays.
It's so hard.
But I try not to. But I knew all about Hitmonkey and some of the other ones. Yeah,
because I want to go into there as blind as possible, just to see what can I actually create. Right. What can I really make? And that's what I love about it. But I don't know. This cEDH, it kind of like that's the only thing that throws me off because it's just like, yeah, I could build something. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to be following someone else's, like, framework or list off of, like, what everyone else is playing, right? And then also it's super expensive. But I do want to at least try it once or a few times because I do like the competitiveness behind it. I do like you being able to go to, like, tournaments and, like, going against others. And then is this going to be, like, a 5-minute game or, like, a 70-minute game, right? So like I like.
You might like it in more of a comfortable atmosphere too, like on my channel. Like if Calvin is hosting and you know the people, you can like kind of rip on people and like do your normal thing, and it might be a more comfortable atmosphere for you, as opposed to like an LGS where you have a bunch of sweaty dudes that are trying to step on each other, and it's like they get off on like, oh, I just went on turn 1, as opposed to like at least with us we could just go goof around and have fun and talk shit to Calvin and be like, how dare you, that kind of thing, right?
Well, and here's the thing, like cEDH also, it like not only is it like super competitive, but like how the formats are laid out, like when you go play in these tournaments, most of them use Top Deck, right? So that's the software that they use for them. And on Top Deck, when you are paired up in a pod, not only does it say the person's name, but that person has the ability to show how many platinum points they hold for that season. So like our season just reset on June 1st, okay? But previous to June 1st, I had over 50,000 platinum points for first place wins that I had gotten throughout the years. And you can see my win to loss ratio over the previous season. And I was at like 73.66%. Like I was like, to have anything over 50 is like really good. Like it just doesn't happen. And so I would always display those stats. And the reason why I would always display those stats is because the other 3 people that were about to sit down in a pod with me are like, bro, like this guy that I'm about to play with, like it just puts them in a spot where they're not going to question their game.
It's a pre-game action.
Yes, exactly. And here's the thing. I get to control your pre-game action. And if I control your pre-game action before you even get to play your first card, I have literally just increased my odds from being the 25th percentile that's going to win that game to being the 50th or the 75th or even the 90th percentile.
In response to that,
exactly,
I do the opposite. I'll go into a game and I'm like, oh, what does that card do again? Okay, yeah. Yes.
But I think part of that is because you're a girl. Okay, and I'm going to be honest, right? I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but if a girl walks into an LGS and they're like, oh, man, these fools.
I lost you for a second and hear what you said.
Yep, I lost him too. I didn't hear nothing.
I just got a phone call, sorry. All of us guys are going to be like, oh, let's leave her alone. Oh, this is how this works. This is how this works. And then you pub stomp us, and we're like, oh, what happened? Whereas if I'm a dude and I try that, it's not going to work well for me most of the time. Who knows? Maybe, you get the right pot of people like myself and some others, but for the most part, we're going to take advantage of this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Like,
so let me tell you something, though. I've gone into games the other way. I'm coming out hardcore, like, and I get, like, way more, like, heat going into it like that.
Sure.
And I think it's just because, like, oh, now they see me as a threat. And then, guys don't like to lose to girls. So it's like, it's a thing. Not all guys. I'm just saying there's some out there that, I've made a few upset before because I won, and it's just like, bro, it's just a game.
See, and I'm the opposite of that because, like, because there are female players that are in the cEDH space. And there's one girl, like, every event that I go to, she's there. Her name is Lex, and she's like a really fierce player. But I've seen her do that. In fact, in a game that we played, she was like, "Oh, like I just don't know what this card does," and I was like, "Oh, great, you're really annoying." And I literally made a point to take her out.
That's you.
Yeah, just so that way I didn't have to hear about. I don't know how my card.
I've seen that.
And I literally did. I was just like, goodbye. And I was like, maybe next game I'll get somebody that knows what their deck does. Like, that's literally the mindset that I went into it with. Because I'm here to win. I'm not here to teach you how to play.
Okay. Right, I feel that.
I love that. You're unapologetically yourself, man, and I love that about you.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like you can always tell good cEDH players to bad cEDH players, because in fact there are bad cEDH players. There are people that play cEDH that have literally no idea. The only reason why they play these decks is because they're expensive, and they were just like, like, look what I bought. Like, bro, ain't nobody gonna care. This is a proxy friendly game. You could have printed it for all I care. You look dumb right now. Okay, when you come into an event and we play 7 pods, and you're XO at the end of it or you're 0-7 at the end of it. Okay, that's what defines good and bad cEDH players. If
you can play with proxies, then is that right?
So it depends. It depends on the event. So a lot of top deck events are proxy friendly. Like, you can print off your entire deck and you're good to go. Some events, they are not proxy friendly, or they only allow for 10% of your deck. So up to 10 cards in your deck can be proxied. And then there's some events that I've played in, like Command Fest, for example. When I won Command Fest in Tampa, Florida, and I got a check for $10K, you weren't allowed to play proxies for the event. Every card in your deck had to be legal, and they authenticate them at the beginning of the game when you present.
I understand that. So if you're playing for like big stakes like that, I totally get that. I do want to just read one of these comments because it's true and it's funny, and that's, I think, my favorite thing that I like about you, Calvin. Greg's on Go says Calvin doesn't care. He sees you as an opponent, and that's it. And that's exactly what I love about, like, you guys that we play. And it's just like, she's got boobs, Like, it's not, it's, you know what I mean? It's like you guys, you see us as an actual, like, equal, an opponent, rather than just like, oh, this girl, you know what I mean? Like,
100%. I will be 100% honest with myself. I'm a softie when it comes to kids.
Well, yes.
So, like for instance, I know, and you're not. I know. He has absolutely dominated Trey's son, which is hilarious, Noah. And I'm so giving with that kid, man. I let him talk all kinds of crap to me, and I'll still let him win. Oh man, I'm such a softie. But yeah, but I agree with the like you should definitely treat like females and males like at the pod the exact same way, because what I've come to realize is like, trust me, like, an assassin is an assassin, right? I mean, Lizzie will prove that every freaking time, right? It's actually kind of annoying that, I kind of wish she would have, like, sat out half of the lives, because, like, it's like she's learning a little too quickly, It's like, calm it down a little, Lizzie. But yeah,
like, it's her channel now at this point.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, pretty soon she's going to be like, transfer ownership now. I'm be like,
well, I see it here, and here's like some of the things. Like, these are some of the things that people have to remember. Like, so Mommy was on the back half of this game a while back. I chose to play a Quintorius Precon, and she had chosen to play the Silver Quill Precon.
Oh yeah.
And there was a point where both Lizzie and Micah were like, "Oh, this game's over. She has 84." Flyers, like, you just did all that damage, and I was like, going to my post-combat main phase, I'm going to drop a board wipe. and I had held that board wipe for turns, but there was just not a reason to play it until there was. And that's where a lot of people, like, when you play EDH, so just regular casual commander, they're willy-nilly, like, they're really loose with those board wipes, and they play them at, like, horrible times. Like, I only play a board wipe if I'm about to win. Like, if I know for a fact that me playing this board wipe is going to win me the game, I'm going to play it. And you've actually seen that, like, quite a few times. You've seen me do it in the Quintorius deck. You've seen me do it in the oh my gosh, the Rakdos deck. Well, what is his name?
Captain America deck too, just because you don't remember.
Yeah, Valgavoth.
I totally get you about that, and that's where I can see where I come in as like a newer player. that I'm like, oh, I got this card, I want to play it, and you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Do it right away rather than
Yeah.
withholding. But also, there's sometimes I just
Half
do
of magic.
because I'm petty and I like to
Yeah.
cause chaos.
Yeah.
Because I I'll do a board wipe when it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, everyone thinks that they got something going on, they have their plan in mind. I'm about to change your plan. That's when I would usually do a board wipe, just because I'm like, okay, you thought you were gonna do all this, this, and this. Now let's see how good of a player are you to see what you can do after this. That's
I also
when
think it's rating in emotions too, right? Because like
yeah.
I'm an overly sensitive and emotional person,
No
and I'm
way.
an overly I know, shocker, shocker. But I am an overly emotional Magic player, and I think one thing that me and Calvin can relate to is like, for instance, if you counter or destroy my Soul Ring like turn one, I'm coming at you, right? I can't help it. Like I'm an emotional person. I'm coming at you. Like I
Or
cannot
if
help
you
it.
play Armageddon.
I'm gonna target the shit out of you, and I'm coming at you. Like I can't handle it. I'm working on that, but yeah, it's hard for me. So like I can emotionally play board wipe right when I shouldn't, and I know I shouldn't. But sometimes it feels really good to like
Yeah.
board wipe them. Whereas opposed to I think Calvin is a lot better at rating his emotions and like
He really
holding on to
is.
that card when he needs it.
Like, how do you
Versus
even
like
have a
it's
wife,
not that
Calvin?
it's not that I don't realize that I need to hold it. It's that I can't. Like emotionally, I'm like like I need to react, right?
Calvin's like
Yeah.
a
How do you get
robot.
better at that, Calvin? How do you do that?
So
It's a little switch.
So to be like unemotionally evolved is like obviously something that you just have to learn over like a long time of playing. Okay, and here's the thing: there's some people that they play their entire lives and they will never be in a spot to where they're unemotionally evolved in a game. I think this won't be. Give me 1 second. I would disconnect this and we'll see what happens.
Da-da-da.
I
Hey,
will
listen. Okay,
say
you gotta
part of the
dance.
emotion.
That's all
Part
there
of the
is to it.
emotion for me, though, I think I like the emotions. I think part of the reason I like playing Magic is I like the psychology of it, right? I like getting in people's heads. I like when people try to get into my head. I like when you can invoke some emotions. But I don't like when I play with people that don't know how to handle the emotions in a good way. You know what I mean? So like I've literally
Right.
seen people like get up from the table and be angry, and then I'm
Right.
like
And,
or
and
like
that's
yeah.
and that's the thing. Like I don't. The reason why I stay like unemotionally evolved in games is because for one, I don't want to get up from a game and be mad because at the end of the day, it's just a game. Like, are there going to be times that I'm going to get frustrated? Like, I'm going to get pissed off? Yes, there is going to be times that happens. Like, I'm human. Like everybody else does it too. But it takes a lot to like really like push me to that spot. And then like, but once you're there, I'm going to tell you. Like, I'm just gonna be like, okay, now I'm frustrated, or like, okay, like
You do. Yeah, I like that about you.
and,
Yeah.
and like because here's the thing, like as humans, like you don't know unless somebody tells you, right? Like you don't
Right.
know if like you've upset somebody, and you know, like in the shoes on both foots. Like if somebody tells me like oh you're upset, oh well I apologize, I didn't realize I gave you any sort of indication I gave a fuck, you know, or there's the other side of that of like dude like you're like really starting to hat me off. It's like bro like it's just a game, like I'm sorry, like I'll go jack with somebody else, okay. But then there's other interactions. Like last night, there was a really good interaction where somebody was like, "Are you just going to target me the whole time, my guy?" And at the end of the game, I told him, like, "Listen, like the first attack was just because I had to attack somebody. The second attack was personal because you destroyed my shit. All right, like you know,
right.
and that's just how it is. Like there are times that you know you're going to make plays based on like what happened to you, okay,
Right.
and then there is times that you're going to make plays based on past gaming experience. So the reason why Micah and I do not play in the same games is because we are both probably going to be the most competitive players in that sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, where I can keep my emotions in check, Micah, when he gets to that point that he's just like, all right, like now I'm like to that, like you really start to tell, like you start to get Micah ramped up. And the moment that Micah does get ramped up, his play style goes to absolute shit because now he's no longer playing with his brain, he's playing with his emotions, and his emotions
exactly
cooking. Okay,
He's a lover, not a fighter.
And that's the thing. Like in the early days, like when I first started playing on Micah's channel, like dude, I'm a masturbator. I will tell you, I baited.
Oh, I bet you are.
Lord God, yeah.
Like I would get in there with Herthal, I would smack his mana dorks, I would smack his
Wait,
swords.
did you say masturbator?
I am a master baiter. I will bait your rage, absolutely, yes. And
Gross.
And I would do that on purpose, like every time. And here's the thing, and I would do it with like a bracket 3 deck because Herthal is bracket 3 by all definitions. That deck is bracket 3. And my my foster sister Lynn, she's down there laughing. She thinks it's hilarious. But with that deck in specifically, when you play a landfall themed deck, whatever bracket they're in, you can just move them to the next bracket because anything that involves lands, which is the hardest thing in Commander to interact with, it puts it in a bracket of its own.
I mean, okay? Unless you have Armageddon, but...
And that's here's the thing. Go ahead. Please, Armageddon, Herthal. Please.
That's not smart. Yeah.
I will recuperate all those resources back. Okay?
Yeah, you will.
And, like people in Commander are like, oh, like we don't play land destruction, like it just drags the game out. Like land destruction is like the worst thing ever. Here's the thing.
Depends on the deck.
It depends on the deck. So Lord Windgrace, for example, is a very good commander, but he's not a fun commander in casual. Like that's just not a commander you're playing casual. But in cEDH, land destruction is not frowned upon. I will literally strip mine you to death to make sure that you
can
counter me.
Smart. Yeah.
Like, I do not
super smart.
So I do understand that because there have been times where I have used it and it was just kind of like it went against me and it's like that person they were able to generate their lands right back and just get back to going, and I'm here with like 1 and 2 lands, and
exactly.
So so I totally get that too. I only used it just to create.
But here's the thing. Nobody ever questions land destruction when it's you sacrificing your own lands. Nobody ever considers that. They're just like, oh, he wants to blow up his own stuff, go for it. Until you're like 3 turns in later and you're already down 18 health. It's like, man, where did all my health go? Because
great.
Just chipping it away. And I literally ended a game not too long ago with her. The last time I played Herthal on Micah's channel, I only played it because of the decks that appeared at the table. And Zach wanted to play Sauron, which is in Grixis colors. And he had modified this deck, and he had taken cards from Dad's collection to do it. So I already know what's potentially in this bad boy. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I know that he's had
very ugly.
He's a little assassin, that one.
A very fairly decent teacher teach him how to pilot this, okay? He's had years of getting his shit kicked in to know how to play this deck, okay? And now I'm at this point like, man, I know what this deck can do. I know this color combination. I know what could potentially be in there. Do I take the precon route, or do I introduce this kid to the equivalent of the Shadow Realm? Because if he wants to play at the big boy table, he has to get it kicked in at the big boy table too. Like that's just how it is. And so I chose to play Herthal, and I sacked 16 lands with an epicenter, but it has a threshold on it, which means that I change target to each. So all players sacrificed all their lands, and I ended the game. And he was like, I thought we don't play land destruction. And Micah had to explain to him, like, that's what his deck does. And he just won with land destruction. Like he didn't play land destruction and then the game just drug on forever. Like he just won. And dude, it took Zach like weeks to come back from that. Like he was the most unhappiest kid ever.
Talked about it all night. Yep, absolutely.
And dude, he did. I thought he was never going to talk to me again. I felt so bad for I thought like he was literally going to contemplate just quitting Magic. Like he was that upset about it. I sent him a Wheel of Fortune. Just saying Wheel of Fortune. I was like, you go.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that.
Yep. But I mean, that just shows you all the different win conditions in Magic, and that's what I love about it, right? I mean, like you would never think that like sacrificing all of your lands like will beat the rest of the table, right? It's really awesome. And I mean, if that's your win condition, it's awesome. I love it.
It was, but that game was so that game was so insane because, like, you know, Frank was in that game.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, he expressed that he was frustrated to me in After Dark about how that game went, because he was like, I'm playing an upgraded precon. Bro, me too. Right? Like, Earthall is an upgraded precon. But it's just designed on, like, how you build it. Okay?
Sure.
And I think that's the biggest problem when it comes to building. That's the biggest problem that I have with the bracket system, because the bracket system in cEDH is non-existent. Ain't nobody care about the bracket system in cEDH. You could just play whatever you want to.
That's interesting.
If your deck pops off, then it pops off.
So that's what I was going to get to next. That's going to be what we're going to talk about next, as well as if we get any questions from anybody in the chat. Just, you know,
this is going to take up the rest of the stream, guys.
Yeah, this is going to take up the rest of the stream, obviously, because we're going to go into the bracket system. So I know, Micah, you have a lot of feelings about the bracket system. Me, I'm still kind of like, why do we have this? Like, what is this? I still don't even really understand the bracket system that well. So I like to see all these different point of views. And then also, if anybody has questions about anything or anything, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll try to get to them. Go ahead, Mike. I wanted you to lead that bracket system.
Well, first of all, I'm curious. You just said something that surprised me, and I think that's part of my. And I can go. We can go way into details as we go, but one thing that, you know, gets me with the bracket system is just how broad it is, right? And when you talk about an entire bracket of decks, you know, cEDH, and there's no bracket to that, like, how do you feel about that as, like, a cEDH player? Like, it seems to me like there should be levels of cEDH, or one specific level, and why is that only bracket 5? Because I feel like bracket 5 can almost mean multiple things.
Well, the problem with the bracket system when it comes to cEDH is that there's not different levels of cEDH brackets, because the decks that are been deemed based on their win rates, and that's what it is. It's win rates. Has nothing to do with brackets. You can play all the game changes you want, whatever it is. Decks inside of cEDH, if you play Turbo, those decks are designed to win between turns 1 and 3. Okay? So you can play as many high-powered cards, as many combo-tastic cards, as many infinite 2-card combos, 1-card combos, whatever it is that you want to play to make that happen. Then you have what you call mid-range decks. And those decks want to win between turns 4 and 6. Like, that's when they want to close out the game. And you hear mid-range and you think, man, like, turn 6, like, that's, like, we can see turn 6 games happen in, like, regular Commander, right? Not even super competitive Commander. And that's the problem. That is the problem with the bracket system. Because in cEDH, there's no such thing. Like, oh, bracket 5 is considered cEDH. But, like, what separates a cEDH deck from the cEDH deck across the table is not the deck, but the person piloting that deck. Okay?
Right.
And if you have a broad spectrum of what your deck can do, then you're going to be just fine. And if you don't know what your deck can do, you're going to get waxed. Okay? Like, it's not going to be a fun game. You can take any player and you can hand them a deck, and you can give them the best board state in the game. But if they don't know what to do with that board state, they are going to lose. Or you can take a really good player, give them a minimal board state, and if they know what to do to make sure that every card they play is a trade-off that is either a positive or an exact trade for them, they're going to be in a way better spot. Okay? And that's why inside cEDH, the bracket system is irrelevant. Now, where the bracket system is broken, in my opinion, is between brackets 3 and 4, because cEDH has been decided that's going to be bracket 5. cEDH doesn't need to be in a bracket at all. cEDH just needs to be its own thing altogether. It just needs to be its own format. Okay? And then if you kick cEDH out and you make it its own format, now you can put the missing bracket 3.5 that everybody's been asking for, because the bracket system is still in beta. Okay, so remember that. Anybody that talks about the bracket system is still in beta. It's testing. Wizards doesn't even know what the hell they're doing with it yet. Okay, that's why it's in beta. Okay?
Obviously.
And that's why cards go on and they come off. And then they go on and they come off. Okay? And and there's different. Now, are there cards on the bracket system that are game changers that deserve to be there? 1000%. Okay, we just saw a card come off the ban list. It was banned in Commander for years. Biorhythm. Okay, that card is a game changer. Okay, why? I can't tell you, because that card, in my opinion, is not as good now as it was when it went on the list. That card has been power crept into oblivion. If you win with it, you are playing with some bad players. That's all I'm saying. If you win with Biorhythm outside of casual Commander, you played with bad players, because nobody's going to let the card resolve. Okay, same thing with like Coalition Victory. Nobody's going to let that card resolve. Okay, but there are cards that are game changers, that they do change the dynamic of the game when they come into play. Demonic Tutor, Vampiric Tutor, very good examples of cards that they're game changers, because not only are they cheap in mana cost, they give you anything you want. You don't have to reveal what you get. Okay, and it literally puts you in a state to where I get exactly what I need right now to win. And
I kind of don't like those.
And that's just how it. Oh man, my phone's doing that thing again, where it has a little spinny wheel of death. So if it kicks me, I'll just come back in.
I want to say real quick.
Sorry, real quick. New podcast rule: if the guest like blacks out or they leave for some reason, then one of us has to do a dance. And I already did the last dance, so I think I did the last dancing, and so you should have to dance. Sorry, continue.
I only dance for tips, darling. Anyway. No, I don't. I wish. I wish.
But then there's game changers that are on the list that they do change the dynamic of the game, but I don't think that they should be considered game changers based on their origin. So, prime example, a game changer that's on the list right now that I have struggled with, like, comprehending for a long time is...
Not me.
That's me. Sorry. It's saying, hey, you're alive. If you don't act like you're a person and not a robot, we're going to end your life. Do you want to, real quick, Zeus Game says, I beat cEDH decks with the World Shaper Precon.
And you can. Ooh. And the reason why you can beat cEDH decks with the World Shaper Precon, and then we'll go back to the bracket system, is because the World Shaper Precon was built the best out of any Precon that we've ever seen. Okay, the cards that they put in it based on its conversion rate and its win rate was something we had never seen before.
What set is that from?
EOE, Edge of Eternity. That's the Hearthal Precon, the World Shaper.
A lot of people sleep on Edge of Eternities, but Edge of Eternities is insane, honestly.
I don't hear anybody sleep on it.
The Counter Intelligence deck, which is the other deck that came out of there, is a really solid deck too. And it's overshadowed only because Hearthal was
I hate that thing.
Good. Like Hearthal was just
I hate that thing.
All the way there. And
I just don't.
I hate playing against this.
For
so
me,
there you go.
I feel like it's overshadowed because I have not met that many people that have played Edge of Eternities or put that much into it or talk about it at all. I just haven't run into anybody, and I have a deck. But honestly, sometimes I'll be playing it, and I'm like, I don't even understand whatever this is. Like, you know.
I mean, the thing about Edge of Eternities was there were so many good individual cards. You know, like Terra Symbiosis and freaking Ouroboroi, and then there's freaking Cosmogrand Zenith and Icetail Explorer was insane. Like, there's so many good cards that came out of that set.
It goes crazy. If we play tonight, I'll bring out Edge of Eternities out.
The World Shaper Precon out of the box. But here's the thing: when people say I beat cEDH decks with the World Shaper Precon, what people forget about that Precon is that Precon has a cEDH commander in the 99, and that is Korvold. Okay, Korvold was a force, like the commander, the land commander for a long time until Lord Windgrace stepped in and made it better. And now you have seen Lord Windgrace just completely leave the chat. Like, he is gone. He is terrible in today's play style, and Korvold has stayed, not as his own commander, but as a staple inside the 99 for anything that's Jund colored and anything that's going to continue to play land-based themes or sacrificing-based themes. Because when you sacrifice a permanent, Corvold allows you to draw a card, and he gets a +1/+1 counter. That card draw for simply sacrificing something is god tier. Okay,
that's crazy. So I just want to remind everybody we probably have like 5-10 more minutes
Who's in
of this
Discord
podcast, and we're probably gonna have to have Calvin on again because Lord, this man can talk. Not only can he talk, he has a lot of information, a lot of great information. I'm sitting here like I need to be taking notes, like So like, I hate that I miss your lives when you go live, but you be like doing it like super late, and I'm like I need to be in there for.
Why did we do it? Why do you do it late?
I do it super late because I have two options. I can do it early, okay, and I have done it early for it. I've ended my stream, and then I pick it back up later at night. And the reason why I do that is because Micah goes live at 4 p.m. Pacific.
I know. I also changed my time of my.
The only reason why I kick it off when I do is because we have a lot of the same viewers, and it does. I agree. None of us. It doesn't do you any good, him any good, me any good if we're cannibalizing the same people. So
absolutely.
Like,
I agree.
The views up, if we want to wind up on the FYP, if we want to get it out there, we can't be taken from one another. So I just turn my crap off and then go do After Dark when Mike is done. Okay? And here's the thing. The decks that I'm playing on my channel, people might not want to be playing those decks. The deck that's playing on Mike's channel, anybody can take a precon on the box and play with it. Okay? Mike's channel is PG-13, user-friendly, everybody loves it. My channel is like rated R, a lot of wild shit.
Like how have you not gotten banned yet at this point?
Oh, I have like 11 times. Okay,
So I will
love
say,
to talk about that too. But
my only request is just maybe if you can have like a senior Tuesdays, just for the where you go earlier.
Right now, I got a lot of free time. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I can like bring in some different times of the day that I'm live, so that way other people can get in.
I would appreciate that because I have a kid that does not let me sleep. Anyway, I appreciate both of you guys so much. You guys have such a wealth of knowledge, and I love it. And what I also really love about both of you is, I don't know everything. I make mistakes all the time, but neither one of you have ever made me feel inferior for that. And I say always, I tell people all the time, don't belittle me, teach me. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of environment you guys have created. This kind of community we have created, and I love that. Because that's the only thing that can make me upset, honestly, is someone when they try to challenge my intelligence. It's not that I'm not intelligent, I'm just unfamiliar, and I gotta let people understand that. Like, it's when I first started playing, I had to have index cards with like haste written down, and what did haste do, and because it's a lot to remember, and
it is one of the most complex games you will ever learn.
And I love it, and that's why I love it.
After playing for 34 years, I'm getting much better at the rules now, but just because of amazing people like Calvin and Demi and other people on the stream. But I still get rules wrong. I still have to ask because there's so many rules, so many concepts that mix together in between other concepts. How does this work with this? What turn order does this go? There's just so
and
much
it's like
to it,
this older card and this newer card that you have. Does this actually work? Did that will that do the thing it's supposed to do, or is that like not gonna come to play? And then it's just some of the stuff's confusing. There's always new triggers. There's always new, mechanics that are coming out and stuff like that. So it's ever evolving, and I think that's why I love it. Because it doesn't get boring for me, which I love. You know what I mean? You can find a card that no one's probably ever heard of, and that's
Peekaboo actually says. Let me read this comment. Peekaboo said, also, if anyone says reading the card explains the card, they are lying. I agree, because you can read the card all day long. Trust me when I say I've played cards for 20 freaking years, and then played them and be like, oh, there you go. And everyone's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't work that way? Read the card, stupid. When I'm reading I've read the card for 20 freaking years, man. I just read the card. I read the card out loud to you. Did you hear me? Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
So the thing is with that is if you're reading the card to understand the card, and you understand it, it's because you know all the things to understand
Right.
for those
Yep.
mechanics. But if you're
Yep.
just coming into it, you're just learning it, or it's a new set, of course you're not gonna know what it means. Like
Right.
when Blight first came out, I was like, "What? Like, what does that do? Like Blight? Like, okay."
Well, you know, Micah has experienced that twice by my hand alone. Once with Frenzied Bayloft and Fog, and then he experienced it again with Whippersill Cloak, and then getting waxed the immediately following turn because it went Micah and then me. And so he swings at me with a 32-32 commander with a Whisper Silk Cloak, and I'm just like, okay. I'm just going to Beast Within the Whisper Silk Cloak. And he was like, you can't, it has Shroud. I was like, no, the creature has Shroud. That Whisper Silk Cloak is
that was way back.
And
God,
and he did not realize
I wouldn't make that mistake now.
He was like, he did not realize that you could literally target artifacts. He was like, what? You can do that? Like, that's a thing? And then the next turn, he lost the game because of it. And that was one of those times that I got a message. I got a message on Discord. He was salty. And then the explaining the fog ruling against cards that say combat damage can't be prevented because his fog was older, so it had the outdated card text. It didn't have problem-solving card text.
That's big too.
And I had to bring it up, and I had to show him, like, if you go and look up the updated card text for problem-solving card text, that card text is not right. And there's times that same card text has, it's gotten me too. Like, there was an incident like a few months back with James and Omnath where the card text had changed. And so I was accustomed to the old ruling, not realizing that in Edge of Eternity they fixed the ruling. I didn't realize that. So I knew about Rampage and Bayloss, but I didn't know about
that. Is so funny that they did that. I do want to start wrapping this up. I just wanted to read a couple of comments from my guys, and if you guys want to read a couple comments from your channel, I got Zeus Games. He said,
I'm just getting loud.
He is starting an MTG channel soon, talking Commander stuff mainly. Welcome, that'd be awesome. And then Marcus, I don't know enough to start when only been playing since February. I encourage you, if you're a new player, old player, any kind of player, join Micah's channel, which is Micah. What's your channel?
I was just reading Taylor's freaking comment there. Whatever, Taylor. I'm not petty.
Anyways, two guys,
two decks, one dream. I'm not petty, Taylor.
I think I've had a dream like that one before. Two guys, two decks, one dream. Sorry, I can get spicy. Anyway,
I cannot believe she just said that was
It's like 8 times she's tried to take us out of our PG-13 rating here.
Yeah, well, it's as long as you have guidance, you'll be fine. Anyway, so I will suggest joining his Discord, joining his channel. Everyone that plays up there, whether you're a rookie or a veteran, it's an amazing place to play and learn and actually not feel intimidated and not feel like you're dumb. Honestly, like
and also it's a good way to promote yourself if you're a new content creator. One thing that I'm big on, Calvin mentioned it a little bit, but I host many Magic the Gathering content creators every night on the channel, and it's a safe place for people to just come and play. So if you're a new content creator, every last Saturday of the month we have a content creator event where basically I just let you guys get on and talk about yourselves, and you get followers. And also in my Discord, there's a promote yourself thread where you can basically promote yourself every single day if you want. Hey guys, I'm going live. This is what I'm doing, and it will help you gain more of a community. There's almost 500 people in the Discord now, so we would love to have you. I'm sure one of my moderators will probably post the link for you real quick.
Oh, my baby goes, hi, Thea, Erica. Hi, my loves. Hi, my babies. Also, Mark says, what is your favorite deck? And I'm a bad player. Mark, you're not a bad player. Hush. My favorite deck. What is your guys' favorite? My favorite deck, and I think it's just because it was my first deck, and it was what got me into Magic, would probably be my Cardor Doom Scourge. You saw that one yesterday, Micah.
I did see that one. I did see that one.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah. Genova. I mean, it's not a big secret. Yeah.
I have a really hard time deciding like what a favorite deck is because I think that based on if I'm playing EDH versus cEDH, my preference and favorite deck is going to change. A lot of people think that in cEDH, Atali is my favorite deck. It's my favorite turbo deck for sure, but like my favorite deck inside of cEDH would probably have to be like Trazen the Infinite or even Tivit, Seller of Secrets. Like those two decks, like I really like.
I totally get that, and I think that's why when people ask me that question, I always go with Cardor, just because it's a sentimental one to me.
Right?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Mine's a
Is it
sentimental
my
answer.
favorite one to play all the time? No. Like, is it my like the one that's gonna be super cutthroat? No. But it's just that sentimental. That's what started it for me, right? And that's my true love.
See, for me, like getting back into Magic, and real quick, I basically never planned on being a content creator. Had a coffee shop, started a night, had a bunch of people come in. They taught me Commander, and the first set that I got back into was Final Fantasy, right? That was the big one. I mean, it was really popular. I taught 10 people how to play, and everybody was VV. I pulled a special art VV out of one of the first packs that I got. I didn't even know what I had, but everyone's like, VV. I made a VV deck and destroyed people. So I was like bound and determined to find something as good, if not better, than VV, right? And that's where the love for Genova came from, because in my opinion, I found my favorite probably ever commander that I'll ever play with. It just synergizes perfectly with what I love to do. I just love that deck. Every time I play it, I have a blast, and I love the printing of the card. I love the art. I love everything about that card. I get all goosebumpy when I think about it. But I think, like you said, everyone's favorite is different for a different reason, and I can exactly see what Calvin is saying, because like I have different favorite decks for different scenarios. Like if someone's popping off talking about how great they are, I have a different deck for that, as opposed to like a deck where like I just want to go and have fun and play casual Commander. Right? If someone's like, oh, I can't wait, my deck's so amazing, I'll just take out Micah and beat him in 3 turns, right? And then be like, there you go, right? And that's my favorite deck, because they wouldn't shut up about how amazing their deck was, right? But it's kind of depends on the on the scenario.
For sure.
But casual Commander though, like favorite decks, like I like Valgavoth. I really like that deck. Hearthal, World Shaper, I like that deck. Auntie Ool, I like that deck. Like those 3 decks, like I really like it. And I know that all 3 of those decks are completely different play styles. Okay?
Love that.
And so they're all 3 completely different play styles. It's really hard for me to choose between one or the other. Okay? I know a lot of people are watching me play Doctor Doom right now. Like that's become, kind of like a favorite. I literally just took every Game Changer. Oh, we never finished up the Game Changer conversation, but we'll come back to later. Like I took every Game Changer out of it last night except for 3, because after breaking it down on After Dark, I learned that I played 12. There was a reason why it was pretty good.
I just had a few.
Some of those cards didn't even know they were Game Changers. I had to look it up.
Hey, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I don't know either. I mean, when I find out they're game changers, I was like you, like the other day, like, wait, what do you mean it's a game changer? That's typically my reaction. But
yeah,
I love that.
I learned that Mox Diamond is a game changer. I was like,
yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
I was like, this, you have to discard a land card to drop this, and that's why earlier when we were talking about game changers, I think with game changers, like the caliber of changing a game, I think should be the deciding factor. I don't think cards like Mox Diamond should be a game changer for 2 reasons. One, Mox Diamond is $1,000. Who the fuck has one? Okay, and people that do have them, okay, are using them in maybe not necessarily like a casual manner. Okay, but like I was using mine in a casual manner because I have decks that benefit from being discarded. Okay, and then,
I probably have one and then sell it right away.
But then you have cards that have been printed in precons. Okay, like Jessica's Will, Fierce Guardianship, Farewell. Those cards do change the dynamic of a game, but those cards are readily available for everybody.
Right.
I do not feel that those cards should be on the same caliber as a game changer in terms of cards like the
I agree.
Two, or
I agree.
or
See,
like
that
a
makes
Boombox.
that makes a lot of sense, honestly,
I agree.
because
Yeah.
that really does. And I also want to point out that like that's so amazing that you guys have been playing for different time periods, and you're still learning. You're still learning different things.
Absolutely.
And that's what drew me to this so much, I think, and I love it. I just love how much it changes. And I know a lot of people don't like change. Keep it the way it was, But like I think change is beautiful and wonderful, and I feel like we're definitely developing a newer community. And yeah, we're getting a lot of new players because of the Marvel sets and all that stuff. But I honestly think it's a good thing. I just wish they would have gave me a little more time in between the sets coming out so I could save up some coin. But other than that,
it used to be like that. We used to have blocks,
Yeah,
and we'd only get like 6 sets a year. Like it was really great. You had time between each set to, like do things. And one of those sets was always a master set. So like that set didn't even matter. Like it didn't even matter. It was just reprints. And then now we get like, God, we've had a set every month this year, it seems like, plus a few others with like secret layers and mystery booster and like everything else.
I will say, let's end with that. It's because they know we're addicted. So the more product they put out,
of course.
Well, but here's the thing: like the more product that they put out is great, and you bring in all these wonderful people, that's also great. Like I like that, but I am firmly convinced that the people that print these cards do not play this game because they do not read what they're about to introduce into the card pool.
That's why as soon as something comes out and they realize what they did, they have to ban it. So I totally understand. But also, could you imagine like getting a job like that and then to try to know every card and what you're gonna make on a new card, if it's gonna do something like that? A lot of people probably don't have that knowledge where they can put 2 and 2 together and be like, oh, if I print this, it's gonna make this in it. So it's just that's kind of a lot, honestly. I don't know how they do that. Who does that job? Well, I just know. I love the flavor text.
I think that's also why every Universes Beyond set that we get feels power crept. Like every one.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, makes sense.
Well, I have nothing left to say. What about you, Mecca? You have anything you want to say?
A million things, unfortunately, but I knew with Calvin being on the channel that I wouldn't get into like even a quarter of the things that I wanted to ask him.
That's why he's going to come back. He's going to come back.
Thanks for coming on, man. I think the world of CDH is foreign to me, right? And I love having you available for that. And I also just want to say thanks for sticking around the channel as long as you have. I think in the beginning, I couldn't have ever imagined us being like close and being where we are today with how much you baited me, you masturbated me in the beginning. He said it, not me. I'm repeating his words that he masturbated me. Very well, he said. Incredibly, he was really good at masturbating me. But that being said, the fact that we are still friends and that we like get along as well as we do, and he's literally one of my favorite person of all time. Like, it's just shocking to me because, with my sensitivity and my emotion level, like I usually don't get through that with people. So I know he's going to be a lifelong friend, and I know we'll have him on a bunch more. So thanks for coming on, man.
Coming out soon, Master Bader t-shirts. I'm just kidding.
I actually already have one. A friend made it for me.
No way.
Yeah, it says on the back. It says Master, and then there's a space, and then Bader.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Love it.
You gotta wear that one day. You gotta wear it one day so we can see it.
I wore it one day on TikTok, and they cut my shirt.
Yeah, they'll shadow be you. Because I can't even begin to tell you all the shadow bees.
It wasn't even a shadow. It was a 7-day full-on ban.
There you go.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll just put Master B. Not as late. But I appreciate you guys so much for being here and coming out here. And everyone that stopped by that, commented that we love y'all. And please remember, we go and play some Magic on Micah's channel in a little bit.
Yep.
And then
about 30 minutes, guys. We'll be playing.
If you got the energy and you're still awake, then you can do Magic After Dark with Calvin. With the Master Bader himself.
After Dark.
It's sticking.
No.
Well, I love you guys so much. Thanks for being here, and
right.
we're gonna definitely have to have Calvin on again because we just keep talking. But
Absolutely.
we can't take over TikTok. So, anyways, love you guys. Bye.
All right. See you in about a half hour, guys. Bye.